Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to do a review for Liminal Phase VR, a game that was released on the Steam store yesterday, November 3rd, 2023, although it had been available on Viveport before that. It normally retails for $10. It's on a release sale 10% off, and I got this game as a paying subscriber to Viveport Infinity. Liminal Phase is described by the developer Anana Studio as a VR action horror game set in a parallel 90s where you fight malevolent monsters, solve puzzles, and explore the dark corners of a fractured mind consumed by video games. It is a short game though. It took me less than 2 hours to beat the game, and that was with fully exploring the world and trying to find every secret available. However, per the developer, you can do subsequent runs and unlock new rooms and new secrets. I did have fun. It is a kind of weird world to explore. You never know what's going to happen next. It's creepy. It's got a very good atmosphere. It's one of those games that shows you but doesn't tell you what's going on, and you kind of have to just piece it all yourself together. A lot is left to interpretation. There are definitely nods to Half-Life or to the SCP Foundation, and maybe the Backrooms as well. Now, there were parts of this game that I did not enjoy, but for the most part, I did enjoy it, and I was pleasantly surprised. Liminal Phase is running on the Unity engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting a steady 90 frames per second. I did not experience any serious issues or bugs. You do have full locomotion along with smooth or snap turning available. You can choose the speed of the turn or the degree of the turn. You can play comfortably seated. You can reset height, and there is also a button crouch. You also have a laser to grab items at a distance, but I never had to use it. There's also a very rudimentary inventory system where you right click on your right joystick. It isn't the smoothest inventory system, but it's functional. There are sound settings available, but there are no graphical settings available. As I mentioned before, the story is show don't tell, so it is very difficult to describe. Honestly, I'm still confused on exactly what the story is. It felt at times like a fever dream. I will say though that although I did enjoy the story, it did end abruptly for me, and I would have enjoyed more closure to the story. It kind of just ends on these few poetic words along with a "do you want to restart the whole game?" prompt. As far as the gameplay loop, it is a little bit of everything. It has some action shooting, it has some puzzles, and it just has some weird shit. And for the shooting, it's a little bit weird because you put your hand in this device and then suddenly after that you have finger guns, and that's how you take down the enemies. And while there's no jump scares, there are stuff that's very close to being jump scares. You'll see some spooky stuff as you go along if you look back or look in a different direction. Like I said, this is a very atmospheric game, and the developer definitely has some talent in making this an immersive experience for VR. The puzzles themselves though aren't very difficult as long as you're observant, and there are certain sections of the game that I just did not like at all. To be frank, I did not like the arcade sequences in this game. There are certain sections where you reach an arcade machine and you'll interact with it, and then you'll be teleported to this world where you're controlling this 2D screen character like the 2D scrolling games of yesteryear. The problem is that this is a very simplified version that has no depth to it, so it just ends up being very boring to play. On top of that, you just have to be patient. There's no challenge here. So it ends up being very slow paced, very basic gameplay that's just not exciting to play at all. Now, I did enjoy the boss fights, but I do feel like there could have been more challenge in them. I think the only time I died in this game is when I accidentally fell down. But my biggest problem with this game is that it was just too short. I wanted to keep going playing this game because overall I was having fun despite the few negatives I just mentioned. These levels were just very trippy and I enjoyed exploring them. The atmosphere was excellent. So I do recommend this game, and if I have to rate it, I would give it a very solid 7 out of 10. I do recommend that if you do get this game to take your time with it, enjoy it, explore, you will be rewarded. It also comes with a free demo you can check out if you're still not convinced. Anyways, I am Fast Lawyer. This has been my review for Liminal Phase VR. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.